人生終有歡喜。
香港是作為東方之珠，購物天堂。
其實咧，香港係一個福地。
幾時同舟在獅子山下且共濟。
我認識嘅香港，我成長嘅香港。
剎那間，這個好像都不認識了。
三個男人同人爭執之後，俾人潑液體同埋點火燒傷。人心惶惶，
真係死情。
On July 1st, 1997, China resumed sovereignty over Hong Kong, and the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region was established. After 100 years of shame, Hong Kong entered a new era. Guided by the principles of one country, two systems, and Hong Kong people administering Hong Kong, the SAR enjoyed an unprecedented degree of autonomy. But prior to the return, Hong Kong society had been apprehensive. Many people, their fears fueled by local politicians and Western propaganda, had fled the territory. Yet Hong Kong would become freer and more open than it had ever been under British colonial rule. The territory continued to prosper and develop, and it consolidated its status as an international center of finance, shipping, and trade. It also succeeded in resisting the impact of the SARS epidemic and the Asian and global financial crises.
香港是一个福地，我妈妈从来觉得香港是个宝地，她说以为香港背靠一个13亿人口的国家，从来都有什么事情有个国家照顾香港。
This support from the mainland has been important in ensuring that Hong Kong has continued to be recognized by global institutions as one of the world's freest and most competitive economies. It has also made progress in terms of the rule of law, climbing from 60th in the global ranking to 16th. As Hong Kong's relationship with the mainland has grown closer, so exchange and cooperation have flourished. Hong Kong's contribution to China's development has been unique and significant, and has, in turn, allowed the people of Hong Kong to share in their compatriot success. However, there are forces of anarchy at work in Hong Kong that do not want the SAR to succeed. In 2014, the illegal Occupy Central movement was launched. For 79 days, the authorities struggled to maintain social order. Then, in 2019, unrest once again broke out. The territory was swept by a wave of violent crime that threatened to undermine the rule of law and to permanently damage Hong Kong's stability and prosperity. The young man is Chan Tong Kai. In 2019, he was the spark that lit the violent protests in Hong Kong. On Valentine's Day 2018, Chan Tong Kai and his girlfriend, Poon Hyu Wing, traveled from Hong Kong to Taiwan on vacation. However, the couple quarreled throughout the trip. Eventually, after one particularly heated argument, Chan strangled Poon to death and stuffed her body in a suitcase, which he later abandoned.
一幕幕咁冷血、殘忍嘅情景，嗰個兇手點樣去拉劫、運屍，然後暴屍喺荒野，俾啲野狗去謀食。 試過都不全。而家唯一嘅可以幫到個女就係幫佢討回公道，還沉冤得雪，早日安息。
After committing the murder, Chan Tong-kai fled back to Hong Kong. However, since the crime had taken place in Taiwan, and Hong Kong had no extradition arrangement with the island or any agreement on cooperating in criminal justice matters, he could not be prosecuted, even though he confessed to the murder.
And there are now 177 jurisdictions altogether with which Hong Kong has no extradition arrangements.
There is a need to mend that loophole so that Hong Kong doesn't become a safe haven for suspects.
The Chan Tong-kai case prompted the Hong Kong SAR authorities to change the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance. Under the proposed amendments, criminals like Chan Tong-kai could be handed over to jurisdictions, including the Chinese mainland and Taiwan, that had no long-term rendition agreements with Hong Kong. On February the 13th, 2019, the revision process was officially initiated. The amendments to the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance would plug a loophole in Hong Kong's judicial system. If adopted, they would serve to improve the rule of law and offer further protection for human rights. However, the SAR government's move was strongly resisted in some quarters. Leading the opposition were Anson Chan and Martin Lee, two prominent politicians who had, 21 years previously, actually supported similar legislation. The minutes of a legislative council meeting held on December the 9th, 1998, refer to a debate relating to two sensational criminal cases in Hong Kong that year, the Li Yuhui case and the Cheung Si-kwon case. Both involved Hong Kong residents who were being tried in mainland courts. Martin Lee, who was a member of the Legislative Council at the time, called for the SAR government to enter into urgent discussions with the mainland authorities concerning a mutual extradition agreement. Chief Secretary Anson Chan supported the proposal. She promised to seek, as early as possible, an agreement on judicial cooperation with the mainland in the extradition of suspects.
Some people are misusing what may be some real grievances of people in order to carry out damaging activities for Hong Kong.
Most people in Hong Kong know little about the mainland's legal and judicial system. This ignorance gave rise to doubts about the SAR government's proposed amendments. The forces of anarchy seized the opportunity to spread alarmist rumors.
If you put enough fear in people, they believe anything.
On June the 9th, crowds took to the streets to protest against the amendments to the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance.
Well, I think that a lot of people didn't really understand what the issues were. I think that a highly orchestrated scare campaign had been mounted, both within Hong Kong and internationally, against what was proposed.
On June the 15th, the SAR government announced the suspension of the proposed amendments, but the demonstrations did not stop.
I reiterate here, there is no such plan. The bill is dead.
One of the major considerations is the risk of life. If there was a loss of life or there are cases of serious injuries, then the outcome of the bill is not proportionate to the costs that Hong Kong has to pay.
But by now, external forces were at work, inciting the demonstrators and offering them support. The violence was becoming more widespread, its intensity was escalating, and it was getting more destructive. No longer was Hong Kong witnessing a protest against legislative amendments. What was occurring would have been regarded anywhere in the world as criminal. Hong Kong was in the grip of its worst crisis since the return to China. In the early morning of June the 13th, restaurateur Alex Young visited the scene of the latest protests.
咧就而家係4點零鐘啦，就6月13號。咁我哋而家喺呢個中環。
The area of Wan Chai, Admiralty, and Central is the heart of Hong Kong, where the buildings of the SAR government, Legislative Council, and police headquarters are all located. Just a few hours before Young's arrival, this had been a scene of chaos.
香港見到有一啲遊行示威活動演變為一個暴力事件，我就想去現場親身感受下究竟發生咩事香港。
出下自己有冇受傷，出下自己裝備，繼續出去，指揮翻自己同事。
Young recorded the post-chaos scene on his smartphone.
佢好多啲電話亭咧，就擺晒啲帽啊、水啊、口罩啊呢度。咁而家啲清潔工人就清緊嘅。咁而家咧嗱，見到呢啲好多啲，哇！呢啲遮，好多遮嗱，呢啲口罩全部係補給用嘅。嗱呢啲咧眼罩全新嘅，哇！啲靚嘢嚟嘅嗱。
Who had provided the supplies? Who was behind the chaos in Hong Kong? Such questions troubled Alex Young.
好多主體嘅媒體、電視啊、報紙啊等等呢啲網媒咧，我都睇到佢哋成日都話啲學生示威者係和平集會，手無寸鐵。但係我去到現場咧，見到大量嘅裝備咧係有組織同埋有策劃咧，就其實佢背後一個好大嘅財團去全力去支持呢啲咁嘅配給品。
那些暴徒太過分了，什麼行為？你們是遊行嘛？遊行為什麼要釘磚啊、拆那個欄杆啊，什麼都做是嗎？
The acts of sabotage went far beyond the scope of a peaceful demonstration. The protesters, determined to force the SAR government to bend to their demands, surrounded several government buildings. After 3 weeks, the protests reached a climax on July the 1st, the 22nd anniversary of Hong Kong's return to China. Protesters occupied the roads into Central and converged on the Hong Kong Legislative Council building. The repeated blows from the metal cart eventually fractured the building's glass doors. The demonstrators were well organized. There was a clear division of responsibilities, with attackers in the front ranks and interceptors deployed to deal with the police. There were also spotters who used social media and gestures to publicize the location of police. Other protesters created barricades with iron fences, and from behind them they bombarded the police with umbrellas, water bottles, iron bars, and other solid objects. More dangerous still were the poisonous chemicals and corrosive liquids they threw. Some of them even attempted to snatch officers' service weapons. Faced with the overwhelming numbers, and in order to prevent serious injuries, the police decided to evacuate the building temporarily. Once inside, the protesters smashed anything they could, including electronic screens, projectors, lights, alarm bells, closed-circuit televisions, photocopiers, and lockers. Inside the chamber, they announced the establishment of what they called a provisional government. They made a show of tearing up a copy of the Basic Law and smeared paint over the emblem of the Hong Kong SAR. They then displayed the dragon and lion flag, a powerful symbol of British colonial rule. When the mob quit the building that night, they left behind them a scene of carnage.
And obviously it's extremely reprehensible. No other civilized country would allow its parliament to be invaded in that way.
Yet such incidents were being repeated across Hong Kong. On July the 21st, the protesters surrounded the building of the central government's liaison office. They threw eggs and black paint at the Chinese national emblem and wrote slogans insulting China. On August the 3rd, at the Star Ferry Pier in Tsim Sha Tsui, several masked protesters seized the Chinese national flag and threw it into the sea. In its place, they raised a flag bearing the slogan, Hong Kong Independence. 2 days later, another national flag was torn down and defiled in Tsim Sha Tsui.
好似8個聯軍入嚟，我哋支國旗俾啲馬喺度踩過。你唔尊重，你唔一定要侮辱㗎嘛，係咪先？你而家係侮辱緊成個民族，所以係即係憤怒啦，都係。
One could only imagine what would happen, let's say, if a mob broke into the US Congress and defaced the seal of the United States and put up a flag of a foreign country. There's something very wrong with that kind of lawlessness.
Incredibly, they were insulting their own national flag while waving the Hong Kong colonial flag and even the flags of the UK and US.
To be honest, I don't get the mindset of people waving the British flags, especially from the colony times. London-backed government of Hong Kong was not being patient with the demonstrations. You had always police, riot control police, who made the demonstrations disperse as soon as possible, and with tear gas and everything they had.
Do they really want to go back to 156 years of British colonialism? I mean, are they celebrating democracy? I'm sorry, the British never introduced any kind of universal suffrage in Hong Kong. Throughout 156 years, they never got vaguely close to it.
你係中國人，你係香港人，你就愛護呢個地方，你唔係搞得到與世龍㗎。
四邊嘅路口都被堵塞，有車輛掉頭，亦都有司機落車希望示威者開路。
我走出九龍啦，一條得唔得？我嚟做咩？我哋嚟嘅目的係為咩先？你俾我哋上屋企先啊！哇，大佬！
For over 2 months, Hong Kong's roads, airport, and subway were besieged by protesters. This is Hong Kong International Airport. Over the course of many weeks, passengers were often stranded here, flights were canceled, and security checks sometimes had to be halted. The Hong Kong subway used to boast a 99.9% punctuality rating. Now, trains rarely arrived on time. Road closures directly impacted the livelihood of many Hong Kong residents, none more so than the taxi drivers. Mr. Say has been driving a taxi for 12 years.
因為點解我咁中意呢份工作咧？就係因為可以揸住架車呢度去嗰度去，無拘無束。
今朝早10點收到警方就8月30日嘅遊行同集會發出嘅反對通知。
Despite the mounting chaos, Mr. Say continued to work, but the carefree times were over.
出門開工，我太太都會同我講小心啲開車。如果見到有啲咩事，都行遠啲，唔好理啦咁樣。咁我自己咧就見到，就算着黑衣衫，我都唔敢同佢講多一句説話，因為我怕佢真係嗰啲暴徒。突然間你都知啲暴徒係冇人性嘅，係見人就打。而家呢條係海底隧道。 嗰啲暴徒咧就係打爛晒所有呢啲啦，呢啲位置，而家都仲未整好，同埋呢度呢啲有啲嗰啲鏡頭嘅都冇晒啦，而家都。
Amid the fear that was enveloping the entire city, for van driver Mr. Chan, July the 21st was a particularly black day. Protesters were blocking the roads in Central, causing a massive buildup of traffic. Mr. Chan was anxious to make his delivery, so he got out of his vehicle to reason with them.
幾百部車韞住晒喺嗰個範圍咯。嗰下我又落到去，咁啊拗咗幾句，咁咪開始掟嘢咯。
Mr. Chan was badly beaten up, and his new van, which he'd bought with a bank loan, was wrecked.
個人又抬走咗咯，咁咪成架車咁咪咁咯，想死咁就係啦，心都酸埋啦，新車落地3個月，哇！一夜冇晒。 我哋睇翻旺角，睇翻尖沙咀，睇翻荃灣，真係死情。我個心係凄涼，真係凄涼。
Each day, before taking to the streets, the protesters would arm themselves with weapons, including Molotov cocktails and chainsaws. They cut down the streetlights, fearing that facial recognition technology was installed on them that would record their actions in the streets.
觀塘、九龍塘、荃灣堵塞部分嘅馬路。你先睇下夜晚尖沙咀嘅情況。
有示威者向警署叫囂，同埋照射雷射光。夜晚大概8點，警方喺警署裏面舉黑旗之後，向閘外施放催淚彈。
我们每天普通市民上班翻工，起床第一时间留意新闻，就看看，哎呀，昨天又那个堵了金钟的地铁，今天又说要荃湾那边又有事情发生了。大家很担心，你要表达诉求要理性啊，你不要搞到影响我，你的想法不代表我的想法，你不要搞到人家，影響到我們的日常生活。
Between June the 12th and November the 24th, the protesters damaged over 90% of the mass transit railway and a total of 147 stations. 85 of Hong Kong's 93 mainline railway stations were damaged, as were 62 of the 68 light railway stations. Serious damage was also done to 1,951 exit gates, 1,146 ticketing machines and other items of ticketing equipment, 1,502 light rail toll gates, and 1,278 surveillance cameras. In addition, 1,158 station glass entrance walls were smashed. The total number of subway facilities that were damaged was over 7,400. The frequent road closures and constant violence had a devastating impact on many people's livelihoods.
地产停顿，零售业关门，饮食业少了1半人有多，然后这个酒店房价跌了1半，游客少了1半。
把那生意拉低了差不多30%以上的营销额。
现在你看他们旅客的就赶走，跟他不同意见呢，他就打，拉下车就打。那跟他们口中所说的黑社会有什么分别？没分别。
In August and September, the protesters launched a campaign of indiscriminate attacks on anyone who disagreed with them. At 8:44 in the morning on November the 6th, Junius Ho, a member of the Legislative Council, was campaigning on Wu Chui Road in Tuen Mun. A stranger holding flowers approached, apparently wanting to chat. But when he got within half a meter, the man suddenly took out a knife and stabbed Ho. Ho suffered a knife wound 2.5 centimeters deep on the left side of his chest. At around 1 o'clock in the afternoon of November the 11th, a Mr. Lee witnessed a mob destroying public property. When he remonstrated, they surrounded him. Suddenly, a man dressed in black rushed forward from the back of the crowd, splashed flammable liquid on Mr. Lee, and ignited it. Just before noon on November the 13th, a confrontation erupted near the General Assembly Hall and Longwan Road in the North District of Shuangshui. Protesters who had erected a roadblock attacked a group of people attempting to remove it. 70-year-old cleaner Luo Changqing was hit by a brick thrown by one of them. He later died from the injury.
He was only on his lunch break. He didn't dispute it with anyone before. He didn't clear the roads. He just walked there, and from our video clips, we found that he walked there, believed to be taking the video of the scenes, and then was deliberately hurled with bricks towards him, and then he died later on.
This is the definition of terrorism in the Oxford Dictionary of English. Increasingly, the violence in Hong Kong was resembling terrorism. On July the 20th, police who raided a factory in Sun Wan district found over a kilo of triacetone triperoxide, or TATP explosive. TATP is a powerful and highly unstable explosive. 1 gram can blow off one's fingers, and 2 to 3 grams one's hands and feet. A kilogram is easily enough to destroy a car or a house. TATP is popular with terrorists, particularly in suicide attacks. It was used in the 2015 Paris attacks, the 2016 Brussels bombing, and the 2017 Manchester Arena bombing. Hong Kong police discovered more TATP in 2019 than they had in any other year. By mid-November, many of Hong Kong's universities had been occupied by protesters.
因為我哋準備籌備所有嘢都係準備咗好耐啦，即係所有武器啊或者防禦嗰啲嘢啊，咁啊每個出入口或者一啲高危地方都有哨啊，即係哨兵睇住啊。
At the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, the mob used chainsaws to cut up metal items, including table legs and railings, to make into barricades. They practiced using bows and arrows and made Molotov cocktails. On November the 17th, a police officer was wounded in the calf by an arrow, and another was struck on the nose by steel pellets. The protesters set fire to the footbridge at Hung Hom Station near the university, causing an explosion. They then hurled Molotov cocktails at an armored police vehicle, setting it on fire. The police used tear gas to disperse the demonstrators, who responded with a furious barrage of arrows, steel pellets, and petrol bombs. According to information released by the police on November the 29th, a total of 3,989 Molotov cocktails were recovered at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. Together with the 4,000 found previously at the Chinese University of Hong Kong and the thousands more at other institutions, the total was over 10,000. Police also discovered 1,339 explosive devices, 601 bottles of corrosive liquid, and 573 weapons at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. The campus was described as a giant arsenal. From an ivory tower to an arsenal, the fire that eventually engulfed it devastated the university, yet the mob responsible showed no remorse.
I just want to live here safely without charge.
咁咧就我哋有組織罪案及沙會調查科咧，我哋咧亦都係揾到一支9mm 嘅半自動手槍。經我哋嘅軍械鑑證嘅專家咧睇過之後咧，佢係有一個優良嘅發射能力嘅。期間咧，我哋亦都咧係揾到有5個嘅彈盒。彈盒入邊咧，其中有3個咧係已經係上滿咗子彈嘅。喺屋內邊咧，我哋一共咧係揾到105發嘅子彈，亦都係性能嘅良好嘅。
From blocking roads with barricades to attacking the police with umbrellas, solid objects, and laser pointers. From throwing petrol and incendiary bombs to bringing onto the streets other lethal weapons, including bows and arrows, explosives, and even guns, quite clearly the demonstrations had lost all pretense of being peaceful, and the levels of violence had exceeded anything that could be considered acceptable.
而家呢個暴力嘅去到嗰個級數咧，已經係我諗好多人都唔可以接受佢嘅程度㗎啦。
我喺香港出世嘅，生活咗幾十年，從來未試過咁混亂嘅場面。
我期望今日開始，我哋個警察，我哋嘅香港警察唔以更強硬，以更強教，我哋就係合法嘅去執行嗰個合法、更強硬個手段去對付啲暴徒、對付民，唔係咧，否則嘅話咧，香港都冇前途㗎啦。
On January the 1st, 2020, this is what happened in front of the HSBC bank headquarters. The 2 bronze lions guarding the entrance had their eyes painted red, incantations were stuck on them, and then one of them was set on fire. The lions that appear on Hong Kong dollar bills are modeled on these 2 statues. They have guarded the HSBC entrance for nearly 85 years, and generations of Hong Kong people have fond memories of them. The last time the lions had been damaged was during Hong Kong's occupation by the Japanese back in 1941. Decades later, with the pain of the war just a distant memory, they were attacked again. But this time, it wasn't foreign aggressors who vandalized them, but thugs from Hong Kong itself. So is this still the Hong Kong that is guided by the rule of law? Beneath a heavy sky, Hong Kong lies stricken. Amid the chaos, the disorder, and the unrest, people in Hong Kong and elsewhere naturally wondered, how could the celebrated Pearl of the Orient have descended into such shame?